Friends, Kandalur Shala, an institute of higher learning of Indian wisdom, formed in the tradition of the erstwhile Kandalur Shala, Kandalur World University in the 7th century. On behalf of that tradition, we are reviving Kandalur Shala in these modern times, and Kandalur Sabha, a trust is formed, and we are conducting many seminars, international, national seminars, and discussions in online. And now we are conducting a course, Vedic course on Kaushitaki Brahmanam, an undergraduate diploma course, online course on Saturdays and Sundays, 2 hours, and 1 year undergraduate diploma course we are conducting. And Kaushitaki Brahmanam is the textual study and the general study of Brahmanas and Aranyas also included. So all are requested to join and utilize this opportunity for analyzing the mysteries of meanings of Veda. For details, you can contact the mobile number 9497759 Yes. The antiquity of Vedic literature is debated by scholars in different ways. There are differences of opinion, but according to modern scholars, the Kaushitaki Brahmanam originated in 1000th century BC, and the age of Yaska is 2500 BC, and Panini is 2500 BC according to Puranic methodology. But according to modern scholars, Yaska belong to 7th century BC, and Panini 520 the 6th century BC. So there are differences of opinion, and both propounders are having their own logic, but we have to analyze critically the arguments. For next, Kaushitaki Brahmanam is a Brahmanic literature. It is included in the category of Shruti, Veda, the Apapurushaya literature revealed to the Rishis are the primary one, and the Rishis themselves described about Veda, the meaning of Veda. So these Brahmanas and Aranyas are considered as Shruti because the Rishis themselves described about the meaning, and so the Brahmanas and Aranyas are the first exposition of Vedic description. So it is included, and Veda and Brahmana and Aranyas together are called Shruti. Yesha vai Agnir Vaishwanarasya yad Brahmana. in Taittiriya Yajurvedam says. So Agni is there, the knowledge, Vaishvanara is the growing or developing of Agni, developing of knowledge at Brahmana. So the meaning should be understood like this. Knowledge should be developed into the higher stage through expositions and explanation. That is the meaning of Brahmana. Eshavai Bahulo Vaishwanarasya Yadagasha. Bahula means the multiple or developed meaning. So when one thing is in a developed stage, we call it Bahula. So Yadakasha means in a developing space, in developing domain, in a higher domain. So Vedic, the meaning of Veda is explained in a new domain. That is Brahmana. Brahmanas are Paurushaya, literature, the words of rishis themselves. Next. Kaushitaki Brahmana, the first chapter, we see the description of Agnyadhan. Agnyadhan means the establishment of Agni. Agni has three different forms in Shrauda Sutra. The one, the Ahavaniya in the eastern side of the Agnihotra Shala, and second Garghapatya in the western side, and the third one Anvaharya in the southern side. These three Agnis constitute three concepts, three principles. Ahavaniya constitute the concept of Devas, Garghapatya, the philosophy of Manushya, Vamsha, then Anvaharya, the concept of the principles of Vidar Gana. These are the three fundamental aspects of Agni, or we can say knowledge has three fundamental aspects. Those aspects are here symbolically described and practiced in as a ritual in three types of kundas, three types of fires. The Ahavaniya is square, having the structure of a square shape of square. Garghapatya is a circular one, and the Anvaharya a semicircular one. Next. Kaushitaki Brahmana begins with a talk between Agni and Devas. Agni complaining that in Pidraloka, the Manushya Gana, they have lost bhakti or nishtha or desire, or curiosity to know the knowledge. Formerly, Devas and Manushyas were both lived in Prithvi Loka, Kaushitaki Brahmanan says. When Devas developed, or Manushyas standard became low, so Deva left Prithvi, this material world, and they attained the heavenly place. But Agni is complaining that Agni is coming to the Dyulok, Sargaloka, because of this deficiency of Manushya Gana. Then Devas are telling in the first few sentences of the Kaushitaki Brahmanam, you can see Devas are making a compromise and pleading to Agni to stay in Prithvi Lokas and in between, communicator between Devas and Manushyas. Agni is here relative knowledge and Devas absolute knowledge. So, philosophically, these two categories has some relations. Asmin vai loga ubhayo deva manushya asya loga yasha edhidi ubhayo deva manushya asya. For devas and manushyas, both lived in this Prithvi. But their difference, deterioration in standard happened, and so the problem was arise. Then Agni is asked to preside the discourse between Devas and Manushya. That is the first khanda paragraph of Kaushitaki Brahmana. That is the subject matter of first part. Next. Then the first part, Agni Utpadakatvam, the creation, how the Agni is created. Here symbolically, in rituals, it is created as a material Agni, but in abstract terms, it is knowledge in the mind. So Agni Pavaga, Agni, for creating proper Agni, three qualities are required. Agni Pavaga, Agni Pavamana, and Agni Shuji. For after creating the fundamental Agni, this to be developed or purified. So, Yadvai Shivam Shandam Tat Pavaga. Shivam means Shandam means calming down. The quietness, calmness of mind. That is Pavagato. Then Pavitram Va Pavaga Rupam Tad Andarikshe. When the primary concepts develop in the higher state, it is that is to be purified. That is that is Pavaman, not Pava, which is strongly written here. Agni Pavamana. Then Agni Shuji, Belishtam Tapati, Shukrascha, Shujischa. When it is becoming more forceful, attaining more power, when knowledge attains power, that is, and then knowledge attains the character Shuji. So, gradually, this Pavagatam, Pavamanatam, and Shujitam, three qualities are Agni is attaining, or we apply these qualities to Agni, and Agni is developed. Similarly, in the mind, knowledge also to be developed. Next. Agni Traya Sadhyatva, the three forms again discussed in this first portion. Then water is for purifying. Pavamanato, Pavamanya, Pavitram Vai Pavamanya. Pavitram means making the attaining the cleanliness or clearing the bad things. Then Pavamanatam, that is when water is used for keeping away the dirt. Similarly, that property, that category, that concept in the material, our material life, that is here applied as an abstract concept of here an abstract category of water as a concept is used to clear the bad things in the mind. Then the wind for purifying, pavaka. Pavaka rupam tada andarikshe shantam tan. Then when developed to a greater movement, having greater mobility or greater power for development, then the wind is a symbol used for purification. Then that is called pavaka, pavamana, pavaka. Then knowledge or Agni is considered in a higher plane, that is Dev in heaven. Then there the brightness of sun is attributed to Agni. Balishtam Tabadi Shukrascha Sujischa. So then that for power, when Agni attains that power, it is called Shuji. So these three qualities are to be applied, for three qualities to be developed. For the primary quality of Agni, the primary category of Agni, these three qualities are to be applied to develop the Agni or knowledge to higher plane. Next. Then the Kaushitaki Brahmana describes the new and full moon sacrifices. Darshapurna Mahasa Ishti. In a month, there are 15 days that is called Pakshas, 2 Pakshas, and full moon development, and then the new moon, Amavasi, and Paurnamasi. In this period, gradually in night, as moon develop in different shapes, then gradually, day by day, the intensity of light will be diminished for 15 days and increased then for another 15 days. So this change occurs in the sky. Similarly, the knowledge also developing in a motion. In a mind, knowledge is not static, it is always in a motion. Sometimes it is in the process or diminishing process. Sometimes it will be in a developing, increasing process, in increasing nature. So these two processes are attributed to the development of knowledge. Vartrakdam vai Paurnamasam, Pradishtha vai Paurnamasa. Paurnamasa means full moon. In the full moons, the knowledge is founded, full knowledge is founded. Vartrakdam. So something illful is removed. Then Nyatri Vasadi Tasmad Amavasya. Amavasya means Nyatri means night, the quality of night. Darkness is there. So there is an interconnection between darkness and brightness. Gradually, brightness will be increased or diminished. So this fundamental experience we get from the nature is attributed to our mind and the development of knowledge also. And symbolically, these two phenomena are correlated to explain the secrets of movements of light or knowledge. Next. Then a small description about Devas and Manushyas in chapter 1. Manushya sadharana mabaniya devatvam prapnuvanda. In the earlier days, Manushyas were similar to Devas. but Deva Manushya Bhayobi Prithvi Loga Vartina. The Prithvi in this, as I said earlier, this world is Prithvi, this earth is used for the living of Devas and Manushas. They lived together. Atmava idameva vagra asi. Then the first knowledge then came. Yadha va manushya evam deva agra asan. Then knowledge, when the knowledge came, then that knowledge is called Deva. For Deva, the categories of the knowledge developed, and Manushya continue to follow it. And Ahirvai Deva Ashrayanda Ratri Masura. Aharvai Deva Ashrayanda Ratri Masura. Agas means the day when the brightness of sun is there. Devas received August, the day, and the Asuras received the night. So the day and night are the fundamental parts of a day. So this is attributed to the knowledge and ignorance. Night represents ignorance. The day light, period of day light represents the knowledge. Next. In conflicts then developed between Devas and Asuras. That is that phenomena is described in paragraph 2. Conflicts of Devas and Asuras developed. Asura Maya, the Asuras are representing ignorance and not true knowledge, false concept. Asura Maya. Devascha Masurascha Prajapadev Devaya Putra Asan. Devascha Asuras. The Prajapati, the creator, the original creator, created these two categories, Devas and Asuras, together. Then they developed and they worked according to the different functions attributed to them. There is ignorance and knowledge, both are generated in our mind. A wrong concept about a thing also developing in mind, and a correct concept also developing in mind. So the mind is the creator. Here Prajapati is the mind. Here we can see the two phenomena. One, ignorance and knowledge. That is mythologically, symbolically described here. Bhavana, Daladavana, Deva Bhava. So Deva means the ability to think, Bhavana. Devas represent the ability to think, conceive or comprehend a thing. That is Bhavana. Conflict of gods and Asuras. And Asuras were defeated. In this conflict, finally, Asuras were defeated. Agni departed and entered the season. When once the Asuras' ignorance is destroyed, then Agni, as a curious, Agni represents a relative primary knowledge or a curiosity. That curiosity will rest on season. Season means something change. Through seasons, a new year is created. So a new thing will be created on the cyclic changes. So the curiosity or the seed of knowledge will be rested in the cyclic changes of the universe. So similarly, in mind also, this when knowledge about one phenomenon is now, that is relative knowledge only, then it develops continuously to higher and higher stages. That development is here described. That is the result of outcome of conflict between Devas and Asuras. In this process, in this result of defeating the Asuras, what happened? So, or through which process these Asuras were defeated? That is described in next portions. Next. How Asuras were defeated? Through 4 offering, Prayaja and after offering, Anuyaja. Hridavo vai Prayaja, the accepting change. So we should have a desire to know new things. We will be ready to discard our old concepts. So that accepting change, that is Hridam, change. That is for that an Ahudi. Ahudi means in rituals it is the oblation of ghee, but in spiritual meaning, in mind, there will be a prayaja, an ignition of desire. That is the first thing required. So that first desire or activity of the mind, that also can be called as prayaja. Then in the end, an apana anuyaja, eliminating the outdated, an effort, a special effort is required. So at the end, for prayaja, a special effort is required, and in the beginning, and in the end, anuyaja, for also a special effort is required in between the process of attaining knowledge. Sayam vak irdushu pradishtita bhavati, expressing change in words. Then this experience we get through this prayaja and anuyaja, these special efforts, or our activity or our thinking to attain knowledge. Then our experiences, we should be able to express in words, in sounds, in language. Then only the knowledge will be completed. The acquiring of knowledge will be completed. Next. Next, recreation of Agni, Punaradhana. Agni will be lost sometimes and be regained and recreated. So we will be compelled to recreate Agni at every time. So seasons re-establishes. Here also seasons means change, the laws of change, that our mind's activities of mind and universe are governed by laws of change. Only by knowing the laws, Ridus, Grishma, Vasanta, Sharat, Hemanta, these are the Ridus. By knowing the change of universe, earth and sun, and the cosmic world, we are getting knowledge of change. In a similar way, mind also, macrocosm and microcosm, there is a relation. In this micro world also, there is a change. Seasons are there. Laws of changes. In the mind also, the activity or changing activity or motion is determined by certain definite laws. So that laws will be down through observing the seasons. Seasons re-establishes Agni. Then rains are desires. When in the atmosphere, rain is coming down as a natural law. Similarly, the mind also, desire will be created as pouring down in our mind as similar to rain. So this raining of desires in the mind should be observed. In the middle of the rain comes Punarvasu. When the Punarvasu means a star, it will be seen in some rainy seasons very clearly. So similarly, when desires comes, there will be a material ground for recreation will be generated. So when in the universe we observe rain, in certain occasion we see this star Punarvasu. Similarly, in mind also, when desires will be rained continuously, then certain occasions this similar to this, the occurrence of Punarvasu, a desire for recreation will be created in mind. So what is happening in mind is symbolically related, making a relation to the cosmic world. Richness and wealth re-established. When the Agni, the fundamental knowledge of a certain process, a certain activity, certain aim is created, then richness will be enriched day by day. And wealth means material and spiritual wealth will be created. By winning repeated desires, this is happening through the happening of rain, and continuously repeatedly desires will be created as falling down of the rain. Then a material situation, condition is created to fulfill that desires. That is here described as winning of repeated desires, connected to the Punarvasu or Punaradhan. Next. Then certain characteristics of Devas are described here in this third paragraph. Sarva Bhala Pradana Samarthya. Devas means knowledge. Here, praising the knowledge. Praising the Devas means praising the or praising or the importance of the knowledge. Sarva Bhala Pradana Samarthyam. Every result we obtain because of our knowledge and thinking. Without correct knowledge and thinking, we cannot perform correctly. Our actions will go astray. So that is the quality of knowledge. Sarva Devadatma Tattva Evedi. Devadat means there are principles, rules of certain categories of knowledge, understanding. So Sarva Devadatma Tattvam Evedi. There will be some interrelation between different categories. So knowing every category individually and knowing their interrelation, both these things are important. Then Devasura Sanyata Asan Te Deva Jede Agnim Pravishan. When a conflict arises between these contradictory, mutually opposite categories, Deva and Asura, then a necessity will be arised for creating Agni. because ignorance will be created by curiosity and primary knowledge. When that primary knowledge is enriched, then only we will reach devas or the absolute knowledge. That is the philosophical meaning. Tasma Duragni Sarva Devada Bhavati. Then the relative knowledge develops and it is developing to higher stage and it attains an absolute stature. That is development of Agni. So finally, Agni is identifying with the Devadas. So the relative nature will be developed and will be identified with the absolute nature. Then again, a new desire for higher development will be created. It will repeatedly continue at a cyclic process. That is happening in the material world. The same thing is happening in the mind, where development of knowledge or thinking is going on. Next. Seasons are 6. Shadava Ardava. Chapter, the fourth paragraph of first chapter, the seasons are described. Rudus. There are many seasons in summer and rainy season. So similarly, Grishma, Vasanta in Sanskrit language, Grishma, Vasanta, and Sharat. Mainly 6 seasons occur. Sometimes one season will be ignored and Pancha seasons will be categorized as only 5. Sometimes an additional season will be added and Sapta concept is also there. Anyway, Vasanto, Grishmo, Varsha, Deva, Ardava. Devas are having 3 seasons. Vasanta, Grishma, and Varsha. Vasanta, the spring, summer, and rainy season are related to Devas. Then Sharad, Hemanta, Shishira related to Pidara. Pidargana. Pidargana is a category through which we recollect many things. So Sharad, Hemanta, Shishira, and Pidara, Pidara, these are related to these seasons are related to the recollection. And Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha collected that season related to the creation of knowledge, Deva. Similarly, the rules determining these Rutus in the material world, the same rules Rishi says that is applicable to, rules are applicable to the mind also. Then Agni come for enjoyment. Then there are 6 Ridus. 6 Ridus, Agni's nature qualities in these 6 situations are different. First, Agni come for enjoyment. Then Agni is taking the role as a messenger. Then Agni will be kindled, ignited. Then Agni smites the foes, the enemies, for those things that affect us badly will be cleared by Agni. Agni will acquire that ability in the 4th stage. Then praise of Agni meditated. Then we will be able to experience the importance of Agni for the development of our knowledge. Then we will become more attached to the knowledge that is developing in our mind. That is praise of Agni meditated. Then finally, the evil, the darkness, the ignorance will be completely destroyed. These 6 stages are happening in universe, and these 6 stages are always in the motion or the process of change in mind also. Next. Then, according to these six fundamental rules of change of universe, 3 ahudis are used in ahudis are performed. 3 ahudis are performed in rituals, yaga, ishti, and homa. Then, firstly, purva ahudi, then uttara ahudi. These are fundamental categories. In purva ahudi comes prayaja, in uttara ahudi comes anuyaja. For that, certain words of Veda and as used by Hoda, chanting. These represents the philosophy or principles of these ahudis, these 6 qualities or the 6 process, the process of the nature that will be described or explained through Hodan. Hoda will explain the principles of these 6 processes through 6 irks. Agna aya hividaye, agnim dudam rnimahe, agnina agni samidhyade, agnir rutrani jignala, agne stoma anyamahe, agnayo martyo drops. These 6 irks will be used. As prayaja and anuyaja. Prayaja means purva ahudi and anuyaja is uttara ahudi. For when we try to attain knowledge, the preparations are required in the initial stage, that is prayaja. When we acquire knowledge, to preserve it and to integrate and to know it in a comprehensive way, then an action is required at the end process, that is anuyaja, tarahudi. For at these 2 occasions, 6 irks are used. So that means 6 principles are to be observed. 6 philosophical principles are to be observed in this process. That is the rules. That are the rules exist in your universe. The same rules exist in mind also. That is the symbolic explanation of this part. Next. Pradhama Adya Bhaga and Didiya Adya Bhaga. And Purva Adya Bhaga. Parthagnam Rutra Nasha. That is the final chapter, the 4th chapter of this Kaushitaki Brahmanam, the 4th paragraph of the 1st chapter describe about Purva Adya Bhagam. Vartragnam Rutranasha. Rutran means the ignorance, the asura is destroyed. Vartragnam. Ignorance is destroying the ignorance. That is Vartragnam. That Purva Adya Bhagam. The first oblation in the mind also, that oblation is happening as a symbolic ritual. Same thing will be repeated as a ritual in yaga also. Buddhiman Agni, Agnim Stomena Bodhaya. So Stomena Bodhaya. Then the intelligence, the Agni, the intelligence to ignite the intelligence, to preserve or develop the intelligence as a tool to attain knowledge. That is Buddhiman Agni Agnim Stomena Bodhaya. Prathama Adya Bhaga. First ignition for the mind and first ignition oblation in the ritual also will be done. In Bratranasham, Agna Ayum Shipavasa, that is used. Didiya Ajya Puronvaki. Ajya and Puronvaki. Ajya is first oblation of ghee. Then Puronuvakya is when that Agni Agni is ignited, then Puronuvakya means an experience that will be praised in the by experiencing the result. Our knowledge will be increased, or we will be able to pronounce it in more developed fashion. That is Puronuvakya, Vrtranasham. For that, Agna Ayum Shipavasa. So when we express when we in words the new experience, when we try to express the new experience or acquiring a new knowledge, there are certain principles always will be working, or this activity will be governed by the certain principle. So that principle is described in this Agnya Ayum Shipavasa. For detailed study, we have to study that the meaning of Nirukta and Vinyoga of these irks in a detailed manner, and then we have to analyze to know the full meaning. I am here giving a hint only, because this is an undergraduate course. So here there will not be detailed study, but the fundamental methodology of analyzing things and to acquire the Vedic knowledge to higher level, that will be taught in this course also. Then next, Samideni Uttama Anuyaja. That is the last fifth paragraph, Khanda of first chapter Ajnadana. Here ends that first chapter. Here Kaushitaki Brahmanam is also, more related to Rigveda. It is completely related to Rigveda and the activities of Hoda. Hoda is chanting the Rigveda mantras only. So the Rigvedic exposition of the ritual and philosophies we are seeing in Kaushitaki Brahmana, being it is a Brahmana of Rigveda. Then Samideni Uttama Anuyaja. These are three rituals. Samideni means, Samit means igniting Agni. For igniting Agni to attain a certain stage of development, Samideni verses are used. In these Samideni verses, there will be certain principles which will ignite desire for our fundamental knowledge, how that knowledge should be developed or will be developed. What is the methodology behind that? That is the philosophical principles are described in Samideni verses. Then Samit will be put to the Homagunda, the Agni, and Agni will be ignited. And Uttama, then the first the fundamental principle of this development of knowledge will be praised as Uttama, the then Anuyaja, second Kriya. Then after Uttama, Anuyaja, Samideni, Homam, then Uttama, then Anuyaja. These three rituals are three processes. Similarly, the principles used in this ritual and the philosophy exposed in this through the works will be governing our mind also. The one that ignites is Samideni. Uttama is the important part of an mantra. Then Aniyaja and Anuyaja means praja. Through Anuyaja, something will be created, new thing will be created, new knowledge will be created. That is the result of Anuyaja. Praja will be created. Apana. Apana means also Anuyaja. Through Apana, something new will be, after taking something as new will be created. That is, so the concept of Anuyaja is related to the Praja and Apana. Then up to second oblation of Samideni, Uvamshu, the louder tone will be used. Second oblation of Samideni is a stage for igniting this Agni. For that, Uvamshu, louder tone, will be Uvamshu, lower tone will be used. Then for Uttama, Anuyaja, louder tone is used. Here it is wrongly written, Uvamshu is lower tone, and louder tone is Ucha. Ucha Studi, that is for Uttama and Anuyaja. Then when for when something created, then Uvamshu will be used. When a new thing is created, there will be insemination of some new, for creating some new, then silence will be observed. That is Uvamshu. But after attaining that creation, then the next action, in the next action follows, then we will use louder forms of sounds. That concept is described here. In mind also, when we are in need of more energy to think, then we will go silent, keep mum and think. When after the thinking, when we will get something new, then we will pronounce that thing in a louder fashion. That is the natural habit of human being. So this action of mind and producing sound is, or vak, or knowledge will be produced in sentence and words. So this activity is fundamental rule we can always see. Next is the last part of Yajna, or this Agnyadhana, Sukta Bhaga and Samyor Bhaga. Samstha Pradishta vai Sukta Bhaga. Pradishta means establishing. Establishing of Agni is the Agnyadhana. After these processes, here we have seen many processes. Through these processes, established Agni or knowledge will be firmly established. For that final establishment of confirmation, a ritualistic Sukta Vaka is a ritual. In that ritual, certain verses will be used, certain actions, rituals will be performed, which will explain the principles of this part of action in mind and universe. Then Shamura Hui Bhargaspatya. Samyor Vaga means Bhargaspatya, means Prihat knowledge. Greater knowledge will be attained. That knowledge will be given will precede. The highest form of knowledge should be placed in mind to precede in any assembly. So that Bhargaspatya, so the highest form placing that higher knowledge to govern all the activities of the mind. That activity is called Samyuvaga. The Suktavaga, Uchaswara is used, louder tone is used. Samyuvaga also, Uchaswara, louder tone is used. Because once this new thing is created and it is firmly established, then it should be pronounced loudly. That is the action of the sound and pronouncing and thinking. It is in different stages. Different stages are different. Here, louder tone is at last used. here ends the philosophy of the Ajnadhanam as seen by or performed by the Hoda, the Rigvedic Ritik of Hoda, the Rigvedic interpretation of the activity of mind and its relation to universe is here explained according to Veda through the words of Vedic rishis. That is the importance of this Brahmanam. These are only fundamental concepts, some ideas while reading these 3 or 4 pages in old Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit, in order to get some understanding to help the readers and the students. We have created these ideas by condensing these ideas in different paragraphs. These are only fundamental observations. By grasping these fundamental things, the students and the curious person should ponder more and more or read many times and refer many bhashyas and Nirukta Granthas and think and develop their understanding about Veda. Then they will be their intellectual ability and philosophical approach, logical approach, and scientific methodological approach to abstract ideas will develop the intellectual faculty of every person, and it will help on to analyze the worldly things, not material things, world also, material science also, and social problems also. So finally, we request you to join this course, or otherwise, if some persons are not able to join the course, we will upload the classes for students in the net. You may kindly find some time to go through these videos about this Vedic course. Thank you very much. Thank you.